Thank you for inviting me to come here all the way from California. Although we are celebrating chatbots here, but I want to point out dumb bots are very frustrating. And the survey shows majority of US online consumers has bad experience with dumb bots. On the other hand, if you look at the Financial Times survey this year, they say, okay, a big portion of Europe AI startups, they claim they're AI, but actually they have no AI. The chatbot field is a total mess, and people don't understand how to judge. And that's why we introduced virtual assistant ability model. We served several goals. First, it provides a framework for you to analyzing the AI technologies behind chatbots. And also, it will also give you ability to evaluate those virtual assistants so you know what's good and what's bad. Also, if you are working on virtual assistant, it also provides a framework for you to say what I should do in the future. So that's the goal of virtual assistant ability model. It's like for autonomous driving car, you have it's level 1 to level 5, and here we have the same concept for virtual assistant. So this is the virtual assistant ability model we introduced. The first level is human agent assist. And here I want to point out what are the underlying AI technologies needed to empower that. Here, in order to build virtual assistant to help human agents, you pretty much need technology like classifications to classify the intents of the user. Also, answer retrieval, more like a search engine, but can retrieve answers for questions. So that's level 1. And if you go to level 2, we call partial automation. That means for user, if you design virtual assistant to handle certain use cases tasks, partially, sometimes if the task happens as you design, then the virtual assistant can handle that. The technology in order to empower such virtual assistant includes 2 major technologies. One is support a multi-round conversation instead of just a simple voice command. You need to support multi-round. And also, the AI need to be able to do intent classification of the user and also extract information from the natural language to do slot filling. So that's level 2. For level 3, it's come one step further. If the tasks and also use cases are designed, and most of the cases, even the conversation flow happens unexpectedly, the virtual assistant should have the ability to solve it. That's level 3. In order to power level 3 virtual assistant, the underlying AI technologies you need includes support dialogue manager that supports very dynamic conversation. Those nonlinear conversation not happening as designed. So your virtual assistant need to have the ability to handle mixed initiative, so the conversation can lead by the user, with user initiative, or by the bot, or mixed together. Okay, it should also handle the conversation where multiple tasks are mixed together. And it's a pretty complex conversation, and the user are expressing multiple intents in one sentence or in one round. And it also, virtual assistant need to know what it cannot handle and seamlessly escalate to human when the virtual assistant finds it cannot handle the problem. So that's level 3. And for level 4, it goes further, say, if this is a virtual assistant that actually can almost fully automate the task and solve the problems in a design domain. In order to build level 4 virtual assistant, the technology you need includes multi-step mathematical and logical reasoning, because you need to do reasoning to solve unseen problems in that particular domain. And also, the virtual assistant should have the ability to planning for certain task types. What that means is you just give the virtual assistant the goal of the task, and you don't teach the virtual assistant how to solve it, what's the process. And virtual assistant should be able to derive and figure out the plan for it. And virtual assistant also need to learn about the task and gain domain knowledge in a particular domain. In a particular domain, the virtual assistant can learn by interacting with the human, by observing and learning through simple language-based instructions. And then for the level 5 virtual assistant, it's what we call human-like virtual assistant. For level 5, the virtual assistant should have the ability to plan for much more complex tasks they have not seen before. It should answer basic how questions. Those are very new how questions they haven't learned the answer, but need to figure out the answer on the fly. The virtual assistant also need to process and comprehend abstract and complex information, and to acquire new language and learn using those new language acquired, and to interact with human to acquire knowledge, behavior patterns, or skill value and preferences like normal human do. So that's level 5 human automation. And I want to mention that most of the products on the market are level 1 or level 2, and Rulai is a conversation platform empower people to develop level 3 virtual assistant without knowing about AI, and sometimes without even programming. So that's Rulai's platform provides for people. And to illustrate level 2 and level 3, I want to show you this demo. So this is level 2 virtual assistant example. And behind the scene, the virtual assistant is doing intent prediction and slot filling. But when unexpected task happens, the virtual assistant cannot handle it well if you don't plan for it. So that's level 2. So if you come to level 3, again, level 3 will have level 2 ability. So behind the scene, it's doing intent prediction and slot filling. But meanwhile, if user asking for something else, the virtual assistant is capable of context switching to a new task, which is offering discount. And a virtual assistant is also capable of detect multiple intents in the conversation and process that. And if you look at this level 3 virtual assistant, it can also remember it's giving an insurance code task, and then have the memory and come back to the original task from the switch task. So that's level 3. So what we should expect in the future then? Currently, we are at level 3, and our product roadmap is going to roll out some level 4 features soon. And you can build level 3 virtual assistant in any domain yourself with our platform. And however, in the long-term future, this is what we are should expect. In the future, you shouldn't learn any platform, any programming language, or any drag and drop console. You shouldn't learn it when you build virtual assistant. What you want to do is just develop a virtual assistant like teaching a new employee. That's level 5. And because you as a teacher, you don't need to learn anything. The virtual assistant will be learning by listening to your teaching and asking you questions and interactively. And the learning from penalties and the rewards you give to the virtual assistant. And eventually we can achieve level 5 human-like virtual assistant. That's the more long-term future, and where our research team is working on. And on the other side, the product is level 3, and the roadmap is on level 4. Okay, so that's about virtual assistant ability model. And this is, because it's just a 10 minutes talk, so I didn't provide all details. If you are interested, you can go to rul.ai/vam to put your information to get the more detailed white paper we're going to release soon. Thank you.